Hey, 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 good evening, Facebook family. Let's see who's out there. Ooh, let's see who is in the pop on. Hi, Tammy, how are you? Thank you for joining. Just gonna wait for a few more folks to get the notification. Hey, Donna. Hello. How are you all doing this evening? Thank you for joining. Okay, so I always say I'm not going to be long, then it ends up being 45 minutes. So I'm going to, I am really going to keep it short tonight. So anyway, hello, welcome, welcome. Let me just grab my iPad because I can't stand that I can't see you guys because it comes up. I want to see your comments. I don't want to swipe it to the right and miss the comments. Let me just hold on for 1 second. That's better. So I can see, so I can at least see the screen. Okay, there we go. All right. Hi, Janine. Thank you for joining. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Phoenix Love of a Healer's Haven, where I work with purpose-driven leaders to provide holistic healing solutions. Holistic healing solutions to help you achieve your wellness goals and work-life balance. I am the helper to the healer and the healer to the helper. Thank you for jumping on and sharing this time with me. Hey, Demary, thank you for joining. So, real quick, I just want to jump into being an empath and what that's all about because I've been getting, since I've been putting some, promotions out about my virtual workshop that's coming up on Monday, December 10th. People have been reaching out, inboxing me, texting me, peace and blessings, sis. And they want to know, and that tells me, it's a confirmation that there are a number of us out there, or those that are not sure, but you have the traits or some of the characteristics. So I wanted to just kind of, touch on about 5 of them because there's really a long, long list of traits and characteristics that are, that help you to determine if you're an empath or not. But to me, these are, I don't want to say it's the top signs because there's all different types, but these are some important signs that will kind of give you an indication if you are or not. And it also will let you know if you need to get more information and learn more about being empathic. So empaths really are individuals that have an extremely sensitive and reactive neurological system. So we basically have the ability to block out external stimuli. However, our filters are not the same as others. So that means that we can absorb other people's energy, we can absorb other people's emotions, their feelings, and sometimes feel others' pain. So that's number one sign. If you can actually feel someone's pain, so someone that may have physical ailments, aches and pains and different things like that, and you can actually feel it, and I'm not talking about the cliche of when we say someone tells them, us that they're in pain or they have something going on, and we say, oh, I understand, I've been there. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to actually physically be able to feel the pain. So that is a number one sign of that you may be empathic. Number two is that we are very hypersensitive to noise, because all of our senses are heightened. Okay, so I'm talking about everything from our taste to sometimes eyesight to the ability to, the way touch as well, feelings like certain clothing is and fabrics are not comfortable for us, or they're irritating to our skin, because our skin is very sensitive too. So noise is another thing. Hypersensitive to noise is usually another big telltale sign. Like, and I'll be transparent. For example, I live literally like 15 minutes from the airport in New York City, or in New York. I live in Long Island. And so I feel like I literally live at the airport, because the sounds of the planes going over my home, and they're flying them lower for some reason these days. I feel like I live at the airport sometimes. And that had, at first, it was just, a struggle for me. And my husband, my son, my neighbor, everybody was like, oh, what's the big deal? Yeah, we live near the airport. It's not a big deal. But I'm sitting there going, what are y'all, crazy? It's so loud, But then I had to remember, oh, that's right, Phoenix. You have a greater sensitivity to be able to hear things a lot louder, and it's more, I don't want to say debilitating, but for some people it is debilitating. So it can be more challenging for us. Sounds that somebody else may not even hear it, or it may not bother them at all. So that's another sign, being hypersensitive to noise. The third one is that we have this deep, strong pull to want to change things in the world, to make a difference. Now, a lot of us are, may have, sense of altruism, and we want to help and do things for people. But for empaths, it's almost like a life or death thing. It becomes like this obligation and mission that we have to do something about the world. Like, things will happen and we'll be like, oh my God, we have to change it, we have to do it. And to the point where there are some empaths, they can get compulsive about it. So it's really, really like a deep, deep, deep pull that you have to make a difference in the world. And then the fourth sign is that empaths really, really, really have a difficult time saying no. No to anything and to anybody. So a lot of times they fall in the category of being a people pleaser. Not all the time. Not all empaths are made equal. However, that is one of the signs. Just again, it ties back to us wanting to help, fix, problem solve, be the one to make the difference. If something is wrong, we want to make it right. So that they kind of go hand in hand. Us not being able to say no all the time. But this is exactly why, I put together this workshop, because I said, I'm finding out, of course, there's so many more empaths out there, and more people are self-identifying as an empath or highly sensitive person. And then there's some that's just been struggling, kind of fumbling through life, trying to understand what's going on with them, because they don't know, and how to be able to navigate and protect themselves, how to be able to set those boundaries, because we are so sensitive and reactive to our environments and certain situations and certain people. So all of this are things that I'm going to be covering in the virtual workshop. The last sign or trait is that we really cannot sit through sad or violent movies. We find them to be too overwhelming. We actually, again, take on the emotion, feeling. Even these are actors on TV or in a movie or whatever it is we're watching, and we actually feel it. We may actually, some people cry because they see a sad movie. I'm not saying that, but we may go and think about it for like 5 days, whatever we saw in a movie, because it's so overwhelming, and we have basically transmuted that energy, and we're carrying it around now. And that's the big thing with empaths. Sometimes we're not able to distinguish if it's our emotions or is it the other person's emotion. And that's, again, a big telltale sign that this is above and beyond just having empathy. Because there is a difference between empathy and being an empath, or being empathic. And so anybody can have empathy, right, for someone, except for, of course, people that don't have the frontal lobe and narcissists. We won't get into that. But there are some people who don't have empathy and not capable of it. But most of us have normal empathy, and we're able to show empathy for someone, care and concern, and be able to, reach in and provide some type of support. That's not what I'm talking about. This is above and beyond that. Like I said, it's a neurological, biochemical reaction in the way we are wired as empaths. So it's not something we could turn on or off. However, we are able to put certain tools, resources, have certain information, do certain daily practices to be able to strengthen us so that we know how to protect ourselves when we go out into the world. And we can show up, to me, as the extraordinary, wonderful beings that we are, that have these gifts and abilities. Because that's how I see it. I see it as a gift. I see it as a blessing. But it took time for me to do my own work and journey and healing journey, and to do research, and to study under certain teachers and learn certain things in order to know how to really embrace everything that's me. And then these are, it's something that you can't do it overnight, but you do know how to say, okay, let me look this up and let me learn a little bit more about who I am. I mean, I basically went on what I call a self excavation of me, and a quest to find out more about how I tick. So this is what I'm presenting, an opportunity to learn even more about you. If you know this sounds like you and you're not sure if you're an empath, or if you're an empath and you've been struggling. Hey Christina, thank you for joining. So if you know you've been struggling, if you know you're an empath, but you've been kind of like, kind of just flowing through life, stumble here, stumble there, trying to figure it out, having to pull back and retreat because things have gotten too overstimulating, overwhelming. And the workplace, that's another area, because I will be touching on how to basically be able to thrive in your workplace, or if you need to make a shift because you're in a work environment that is not conducive for someone that's an empath or highly sensitive person. And there are certain jobs, careers, workplace environments that are not good for us. Okay, and again, these are things that I found out trial and error. So I kind of went through all of this so that I can share this information with those of you who are either self-identifies as an empath or a highly sensitive person, or you're not sure and you're trying to figure out. So one of the great things about the workshop, which is on Monday, 12/10, at 7 o'clock, it includes a replay with the registration, because I know, maybe some people can't sit for it at that time, is that I include an actual assessment, an empath assessment. So it's a number of questions, I forgot, maybe about 20 questions, that really go through a yes and no situation to see if you are an actual empath. But I'm going to really give some tools, from the foods to eat, looking at, the supplements, herbs, of course, everything, from a holistic and natural perspective. And also just looking at your relationships, the type of relationships, the type of personalities that are healthy for you and the ones that aren't. Because there are just some relationships that we really cannot afford to be in. And that may sound harsh, but it's factual. Because again, with us, because how we're wired neurologically and from a physiological standpoint, and even spiritually, everybody's not going to be a match for us. And that's friendships. That's even some of our relatives. So we have to kind of teach them how to interact with us, putting those boundaries in place. So these are all of the things that I'm going to go over, and I'm going to take a deep dive in, just so that you have the information, you have the resources, you have the support. Because I have a number in my online community, Holistic Living for Purpose-Driven Leaders. Probably about 70% of the people in that community are empaths, because most of us end up working in the helping profession, whether we're therapists or we're holistic practitioners or we're teachers or we're nurses, ministers, clergy, healers. That's who we are, because we're drawn to fields of work or businesses, or how even our own practices, that is going to have a spirit of altruism, and that's going to um, be able to solve a problem, that's going to be able to make a difference. Remember, going back to number 3 sign that I said, we have this deep pull and strong pull on our heart, our spirit, our soul, to be able to make a difference in this world and actually see it through. Not just say we want to make a difference, but we go for it. So, we have this passion that is like relentless, and be relentless. I'm saying all of this because I know that's me. I have this platform, not just because I like to get on Facebook and talk on lives, because I really don't. Because, again, some of this can even be overstimulating. Social media can be overstimulating for an empath. But I have a passion and a deep sense and need to be able to make a difference and to share, information about mental health from a holistic perspective. This is what I do, and I want to support my fellow therapists and clinicians and helping professions and holistic practitioners and teachers and leaders. So again, this is what we normally do as empaths. We gravitate to certain careers and jobs and businesses that is going to make some kind of blueprint, or footprint rather, leave our footprint in this world, because that's really how we're wired. So, okay, let me read some of your comments. So Tasha says it can be very draining. Absolutely, absolutely. And this is why, Tasha, I am putting this together, because there are ways, because I stumbled. This was me many years ago, stumbling through life, trying to figure it out, looking and for answers and everybody you can think of, like, asking the questions sometimes to the wrong people. Because if somebody's not an empath, they're not going to be able to really totally relate to what you're going on. You know how many times people was looking at me like I was crazy when I can hear certain things, and things was really bothering me. So, it's like people will be like, okay, let me go on over here because I don't know what she's talking about. My own mother, she didn't know what to do with me as a kid, because most empaths are empaths from when they're children. There are empathic children. I have talked and worked and counseled and coached mothers that have children that are empaths, and they was like, oh my goodness, they're ready to basically send my child to get a psych eval because they think she's seeing things and hearing things. And of course, with me, that's my part of my background, working in a psychiatric hospital. So I was able to use that experience to really coach and counsel and talk with the parent, talk with the child, and really see what's going on. And a lot of times these children, they're empathic. And people don't understand. So that's why this is so important to me to do this. So let me see some of these questions and comments. I see y'all jumping on in there now. Hold on. Okay, so Janine says, why can't I see it? It keeps disappearing. I don't want to miss any of your comments. So Donna says, in a room of 10, maybe one will appreciate. That's true. That's true. Welcome, friend. Thank you for joining. Donna said, yes, I asked a million questions. Exactly. Janine said, yes, I'm 30 years in my career and still love it, but I'm definitely an empathic person. Awesome. Janine, what do you do for a living? What is your career? She said, my sensitivity to sound is unbelievable. Yes, yes. Fran says you cannot share. Thank you, Fran. Thank you. You cannot share with everyone because they'll look at you like, what you talking about? So here's what I want to say, my sisters, and if there's any brothers on here that's empathic, because it's not just women. It's just that it's mostly women, it seems to empath, but there are male empaths. Yeah, so you cannot share with everyone, but I want to say this is why I have my community, Holistic Living for Purpose-Driven Leaders. So if you're not a part of that, please come on over and join, and I'll put the link in, in the comments when I finish with this live. But this is why I'm doing the workshop, because we need the support. We need to know how to really navigate and deal with all of the different feelings and the different experiences that we have that other people just don't get, right? Because it's unique to us. She says, Donna says, how do we answer the questions? How we are now? I've shut down a lot. Oh, okay, Donna. Yeah, so that's some of the stuff I'm gonna go over, and there's gonna be like at least a 15-minute Q&A time, so y'all can ask all the questions because I'm gonna cover a lot of that. Okay, take the mystery out of it, give us what we need, and equip us. Tankia says, must you possess all five signs to be an empath or highly sensitive person? No, there. Okay, so there's all different types of empath. There's probably about 10 different types of empath. Like I'm an intuitive empath. So no, you don't. But there is an assessment that I am including, Techie, and I think you've signed up already. That's included in the workshop. So I'm going to send that out actually before we do the workshop. So you'll get the assessment and you can answer the questions just to see. So there's actually a questionnaire that was created by a psychiatrist, Dr. Orloff, and it lists all of the different traits and stuff. So this was just a couple of signs that I pulled from this very long list of signs and traits and characteristics, and these are usually the ones that are most common. So that's why I use those. Oh, okay, Janine. Okay, yep. So, yep, that's what we end up doing. Fran said it can be men too. Exactly. Oh yeah. That's what I said. Male empaths. Definitely have to be in tune with their feminine side. Yes, yes, absolutely, Fran. And I don't know why this thing's. And you said men often stay in the masculine, which makes it harder for them to feel they block their emotion. Exactly. This is true. And this is why, men, of course, and a lot of us are clinicians, they don't, also come into therapy, even though now you're seeing more, they're being more open to it. There's all different types of organizations out there that specialize in treatment and therapy for men. So they are being more in touch with their emotions and are sharing more. Because even, I did like a men's healing circle earlier this year, and it was phenomenal. I had a great turnout and everything. So men, they're being more in tune because, again, I think this was a year, I know, this was a master year. This was a master 11 year where this was the time where revelations, things need to come out, whatever you've been burying and not dealing with and that needs to be healed, this was the time for it to come out. So this is also why I wanted to, yes, the end of the year, I thought this was perfect in December to do this workshop because there's so many of us, and a lot of us, especially those of us, melanated people, we usually don't talk about stuff like this. What do you mean empath? What's that? We don't usually self-identify with these things, but the more we are, and thank God for technology that we are exposed to more information, now we have something to say, oh, okay, that's why, because before, you figure when we were kids, most of us, nobody knew what an empath was. Nobody was talking about anything like that, at least not in our communities. So you said take care of family and marriage therapy. Oh, okay. See, this is what I'm saying. Look, all my clinicians. Exactly. So yeah. So I didn't want to make this a long thing, but if you have not signed up for the virtual workshop, it's Monday. It's from 7 to 9. Monday, 12/10 from 7 to 9. There is a replay included in the registration if you cannot sit for the duration of that time, or you can't sit for it at that time. So you'll get a replay sent to you. And like I said, I'm going to go deep. It's a couple hours. If it's going to couple of hours well spent, that could be life-saving for you. And especially if you're not sure if you're an empath, you definitely should, take part in this workshop. Janine said, in the last 4 years, I've been leaning more towards peer recovery. Okay. Supportive. Okay. Janine, listen, we got to do what we have to do. And definitely peer-to-peer and groups just for clinicians and for ourselves, we need that. Again, I think I've mentioned this before. I am an adjunct professor and I'm an MSW advisor, field advisor. So I work with the students for the 2 years they're in their MSW program and give them advice on, their field placements, their courses, everything, just helping them kind of navigate through while they're finishing up their course of study to be a social worker. And I tell them all the time. First thing I told them, I said, you need to have your own therapist. You need to have therapy. You need to have some peer support. I said, because once you step out in that field and you're dealing with the real day to day and someone's giving you a paycheck for your service, for what you're providing, you're going to see that you need to have that extra layer of support. And you have to have somewhere to be able to put all of those emotions and deal with your own emotions and how you are showing up, use of self, of course, in that interaction with your clients. Especially if you're working in these environments that can be very draining, high risk populations, whether it's substance abuse, like you mentioned, Janine, or it's a hospital setting. And right now, I have 20 students, and all of them are placed in some really, really, really serious placements, from hospitals to psych hospitals. They're getting the real deal. So, I always encourage them to have that support, especially using, like you mentioned, peers. Okay. Oh, okay, Janine. Okay, great. All right, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, Fran, that's right. The self care you have to take. And this is what I look at. Let me just say this, ladies. This is, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm sorry, if you're catching this on the replay, maybe some men that jump on here, please put hashtag replay. If you have any questions about the virtual workshop, Becoming a Warrior Empath, Mastering 10 Survival Strategies. It's on Monday, December 10th. From 7 to 9. It includes a replay if you cannot sit for that time. But if this is you, if anything I've described to you, and anything that even the comments that some of the ladies have mentioned on this feed and on this live broadcast, yeah, listen, just join us. But self-care is important. You have to take care of yourself. And this is part of why I did this virtual workshop and why I'm doing it. Because to me, this is part of self-care. This is part, and even I'm going to take it a step further, Fran, it's actually self-love. Okay? Because we need to practice self-love every single day. But like I said, when you are an empath or a highly sensitive person, you have to take everything up a notch. Because we have to be able to protect ourselves. Hey, Karen, thank you for joining. Let me see who else is on. I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but I can't see all of the comments. It's not even allowing me to see it on my iPad, which is very frustrating. So, hey, Rebecca, Jennifer, thank you for joining. Nita, what's up, my girl? Okay. I think I got everybody. Thank you. Tasha, yes, okay. Yes, so I've heard draining. Yes, these are all of the different symptoms, signs, traits. And then we are going to get all of the resources, because I'm going to do a wonderful guided meditation using sound, affirmation, creative visualization to help strengthen us. Because there are specific creative visualization techniques, meditation techniques that will help strengthen us as empaths. So they're very specific. Everything is customized for empaths. So this is why, I'm saying that if you self-identify as an empath, and I'm sorry, I know I'm having my finger all over this. This is definitely a place that you need, or a workshop you need to be a part of. Janice says, I currently work as a wellness advocate with the DOHMH. Oh, okay, Department of Health. Yep, related and then non-fatal. Oh, you're dealing with the opioid. Okay, yes, that opioid. Ooh, that opioid situation is serious. Yes. Okay, so yeah, you definitely need the extra support, Janine. Hey, Martha, thank you for joining. One of my Sound Bowl sisters. Hey, Lynn, thank you for jumping on. So I'm actually going to be wrapping it up. So those of you who are just coming in, you could just, catch this on the replay. Just watch it from the beginning. Hey, Alyssa, how are you? We haven't connected in a while. How are you, my sister? So the virtual workshop is on Monday, December 10th, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you cannot sit for that, there is a replay, including the registration. I'm going to talk about navigating those relationships. Again, every relationship is not good for us. So the type of personalities, the type of relationships that we need to stay clear of, or set very firm boundaries. So I'm definitely going to go in on that. I'm going to talk about the foods, supplements, herbs, meditation practices. I'm actually going to do a guided meditation. So this is going to be a really power-packed workshop that's specifically for those who self-identify as an empath. Not sure if they're an empath, but they know they have some characteristics or traits or signs or something that says, you know what, I need to check this out, because a lot of you have been hitting me up and asking, I think I'm an empath, but I'm not sure. Come on and sign on up for the register for the workshop. Can you see, please? I'm going to actually, Janine, everyone, I'm going to put the link in the in this live. So I'll include it here. I'll include it at the top, and I'll also include it in the comments. Okay? Hey, Sharon. Hey, Keisha. Hey, my sister. Thank you for joining. Okay, Kara says she's going to watch the replay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And yes, I hope that most of you can... Hey, my sacred sister. Yes. I hope that most of you can join live, because we're going to have a wonderful Q&A session afterwards. So that's the only reason why it's 2 hours, because really I'm going to really what we call hit it and quit it. I'm going to cover a whole lot in like an hour, leave about 15-20 minutes for the meditation, but I really want to leave time for the Q&A session so that we can have a discussion and you know that you're supported. I'm here to support all of you. So this is one, if you're not in my online community, which is predominantly empaths, it's a holistic living for purpose-driven leaders. If you're not in that community, come on over. I'll drop that link in here as well. Okay, Nita. Okay. You always working and traveling. All right, sis. Definitely. So if there aren't any other questions, I am going to wrap it up. I'm just trying to make sure, I was looking at my notes, make sure I didn't forget anything that I wanted to tell you guys, or you ladies rather, and gentlemen, because again, there are male empaths. So male empaths, if you know this sounds like you, don't be shy. Sign on up or inbox me if you have some questions. But I know y'all are out there. I know male empaths. That's why I know you exist. Types of empaths and how to increase your abilities. Yep, talked about that. Supplements. Yes, I talked about supplements, right? So yes, there's going to be foods, herbs, and supplements, and then those protective tools for empaths. So we're going to have fun though, because there's some actual guided practices that I'm going to do with y'all. So this is going to be interactive. So that's why once you click on, you'll see I'll say wear comfortable clothing and bring a bottle of some alkaline water, of course, or distilled. Okay, okay. Hey, Tania, thank you for joining. So I'm wrapping up so you can watch the replay on this. If there's not any more immediate questions, you can always drop questions in the comment box, or you can inbox me. Hey, Crystal, thank you for joining. I'm wrapping up, but watch this on the replay. So if you catch this on the replay, #replay, please share this video out. Please share this video out, because I know there's more of us out there, and we need the support, and we need to support each other. Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm Phoenix Love of a Healer's Haven. Everyone have a blessed and peaceful evening. Good night.